Okay, today we have Theresa. She's a member of the Market Power Program, and thank you, Theresa, for coming on today and sharing all your wisdom. And we really appreciate you having you as a member. And thank you.
Awesome. Happy to
All
be
right.
here.
So my first question to you, I kind of wanted to see a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit of background about you and how you got involved in options trading?
Well, sure. Okay, so uh during the pandemic, I was like, what better time to learn a new skill than to take up trading? And I was already retired. Okay, so I retired early, but I was like, okay, I want to trade. This should be fun. So I learned how to trade options in 2020. And so I was trading the wheel strategy, sell puts, get a sign, sell calls, blah blah, for a long time. And then in late 2022, um, I thought, I should get into this zero DTE stuff because I need, the wheel trades. It was we went into a bear market, it was not working. So I started studying zero DTE trades and traded the last part of 2022 and all 2023 trying to get the zero DTE thing down. And I studied a lot. I traded with like three different groups, had my face ripped off more than one time on some of those trades. And they were so stressful. They were so stressful that by the end of 2023, I was like, forget it. I'm going to find other things and just not going to do it. And I had a lot of friends in those groups who had the same thing,
Right.
and you follow some people and some people do well, some people not so good. Anyway, but for the most part, everyone was stressed out and the market just kept changing. So in February, a friend of mine had said, hey, I'm doing this market power strategy with OptionGenius. You might totally like it because it's not zero DTE, it's one DTE. And you only take the trade on specific days when we get a signal. And I was like, let me,
Right.
let me check that out. And so I took a look at it and I was like, okay, this makes total sense. I'm going to, she had great things to say about it and she'd been doing really well. So I said, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and get on in. And so I joined, did some paper trades, of course, studied all the material like you should, and then started ramping up slowly with, like one contract and then two contracts, et cetera, et cetera. And got to the point where uh, doing the five wides, the five wide spread, I had ramped up so much that the commissions were getting nutty. So I switched over to 10 wide spreads.
Right.
So now each time I do 10 contracts, 10 wide, but I leave four additional contracts open in case it goes against me and I want to help my cost basis a little bit. So in that time, so I started late February of 2024, so this year, and ramping up and just doing that amount. In this time, I've made like $27,000. like that's
Wow.
not a side hustle anymore,
Yeah.
that's that it's become one of my core trading strategies when when the signals are available. So I have heavily traded options for 4 years now, and I did a lot of spread trades before. So this was not like, oh, I have to completely start at square one learning how to trade a spread. But it was a new thing, but I love it. Oh my God, it's
I can tell.
it's seriously it was it's great because you have a few signals a month. You don't have to stare in front of your computer all day. Once in a blue moon, if you have a crazy trade, but it's not stressful. That's the best part. It's just like a really great trade.
It
So
is. Well,
so it's been good times. That's why I started telling other people. But I was like, you got to join this. It's gonna be good. So yeah.
well, I'm very excited to interview you because you're like I consider you one of our like all stars, right? So you've done this great mentorship to other members, and yeah, just I can tell that you've been very successful with it. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
My second question was what attracted you to this specific trading program, but you answered that. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, or is pretty much
No, I mean, okay, well, one thing, of course, is I like we get a few signals a month, could be between like 4 and 10. So it's not every day. That's great. But also, I love that you guys are on there and, helping other people out. Like your support is really good. Like if I have to email something, your support person is like on it like that. You
okay?
know what I
Good.
mean? So you guys have it together in addition to being like having this really good strategy in the algorithm. So I appreciate good customer service.
Well, we appreciate you. I mean, I think the end goal is, we are out to help people first and foremost, right? We all want to be successful, and part of that is I always tell people that trading is a very isolated activity. So you don't want to feel isolated. You don't feel alone.
Yeah.
You want people to answer your questions to the best of their ability and have someone to ask, and answer you when you need it. So that's really great to hear. Fantastic. So I was wondering, like, what components of the Market Power program do you specifically like? Is there one over another, or is it
Well,
a certain thing that you really
the
like?
main thing is getting the signal, and I get the signal on the app, I get the signal by email, and as soon as I get the signal, then I take a look at what the market is doing. So if it's like, let's say we're like today, we got a signal at like 11 a.m. my time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. Um, if we get a signal that time of day, I want to wait to see what's going to happen. But then you just follow the program. You see, has it stabilized? No, don't take the trade. Has it stabilized? Yes. Okay. Look to, crunch the numbers, see if it makes sense. So the fact that uh, you have the signal, it's giving you the which spreads you could take.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Now, I always crunch my own numbers first, and
Good.
then see what it gives me, um, just based on the high or the low of the day. But then I'm validated by by what it's giving me, and I like the fact that it's not just a hey, we're up 1%, take this trade. You guys have background algorithm stuff. I don't know all the algorithm, whatever, but um, it works really well. I mean, in this whole time, okay, since we're talking how many months now? We're looking at 10 months or something. During that entire time, I've only had one adjustment. And that one adjustment was by the time it was the end of the day, I bought it back for like 75 cents or something,
Right.
and then the next day sold it for 70 cents and bought it back at the before middle of the day, maybe for 40 cents. So I was just trying to break even on that one on the adjustment, and I still ended up making 5 cents. So it still ended up being a winner. And so I think that's probably like one of the best parts of it is if you take the signal and you don't fly too close to the sun, that you're not going to get in trouble the same way you would with like the zero DTEs when you're like, I got to close this for like a huge loss. And, it just, it really helps doing it the day before because you get a lot more premium. So, for the technical people of us out there who are like, theta decay, it's gonna
Right.
gonna go really fast, So that's a bonus. So I like all those things, but it just makes it easy. Let's just put it that
Yeah,
way.
I mean that's what we're trying to do. I agree with you. The zero DT is like a completely different animal. I mean, it's just a whole another ball game, right? So, we do run into the struggle that it's almost too good to be true. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the track record speaks for itself, but people come in there and they into the program and they're like, you only had one adjustment or two adjustments in a year, and how is that possible, right? But we're doing it regularly, so it's one of those things that people have to get the feeling of, and then really kind of get the confidence in it in the program. So yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah, yeah. And also, okay, so I at this point because I have been trading pretty heavily for 4 years and done really well with trading. I also I have a pretty big account.
Mhm.
And so I never trade more than 5% of my account, or I never risk more than 5% of my account on a particular strategy or trade. So even if for, something crazy happens and I can't, I have to abandon the trade and I lose the whole amount, uh, I, I might be upset, but it's not my whole life savings. You know what I mean?
Right. It's in line with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So, I mean, people have to be in line with what they're trading. Like if you only have, a $5,000 account, don't trade all 5,000, you know what I mean? Like you, you gotta be okay with like making small, small moves.
I
Um,
agree. I mean, you have to impress that on people, and it's not always easy to do because we get all excited that we have this certain amount and we want to trade it, and we see we have um, this specific strategy like this one, and then we want to employ all that capital. But the wise thing to do is just use a percentage of that, right? So
Correct.
it's a real struggle, especially for a newcomer.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I agree with you. I was going to ask you. I mean, you're a seasoned trader, I would say. And do you feel that this program is attainable for someone that has little experience? I mean, we try to do that, but do you feel that with the course and the material there and with the help, that someone that's basically new to options can succeed?
I do think so. I mean, I think, well, first of all, let's face it, if you're a new trader, you need to watch all the videos. And as well as I do that some
Mhm.
people are like, I just want to jump in and trade. I just want to make the money. And you're like, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you. There's a t-shirt that a spammer sent to me one time, said, you should buy this t-shirt. If at first you don't succeed, do what Theresa told you to do the first time.
I love that.
And so if you're a new trader and you watch all the videos and you take it in and you spend the time doing some paper trading, you're going to be fine. I think the materials are good. Oh, you might want to add in something about, I mean, if somebody has not traded a spread before,
Correct.
that spreads themselves are their own different animals, other than just like buying a call or selling a put. But I feel like it's pretty thorough. Even if somebody is new, as long as they pay attention. Now, when I've had students in the past, I'd be like, you don't just watch the videos, you take notes. And by hand, you take notes by hand.
Right.
So
Because
you can
you have to absorb all that material, right?
exactly, because if you just watch the video and then later on you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do about this adjustment? Whereas if you've taken the notes by hand, it's pretty easy to go back through your notebook and go, okay, I know exactly where this is. I don't have to dig for the video. So I do feel like it's pretty accessible for new people if they follow the program
Right.
and
And
spend the time to learn it and take notes and do some paper trading. Especially like if you're new to spreads, you really need to spend time paper trading, and that means like even if we don't have a signal, just practice a paper trade on your own until you really get spreads down and you don't make a mistake. So the other thing I always tell everybody is like before you hit the submit, you point at the screen and read your trade out
yeah,
loud.
I agree. Yep, it is. It's the hardest. One of the hardest things to do is to temper all that excitement. And really, I always tell people that you need to have a cadence. You need to cycle through the trades. You need to feel all the feelings, the high feelings, the low feelings,
Mm-hmm.
before you put your money at risk. Right. So
Yes.
you need that learning process does take time, and you do need to put the effort into learning the program. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree
I
with
know
you.
people are like, what? I'm only going to make $25 on,
Right.
every time we think, well, that's going to add up pretty quickly if you keep going with it and you don't end up blowing it on, one stupid trade where you weren't paying attention or flying way too close to the sun,
Yep.
So
I agree. It's also you have to focus on the process, right, of how
yeah.
things are done, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So a question for you. What are some of the initial challenges that you came across when you started option trading, would you say?
Option trading or this particular thing? Just option
We
trading
could
in general?
say a two-part, maybe just
Okay.
option trading in general, and then with this program.
Okay. So options trading in general, um, I actually thought it was kind of easy. I don't know why. I mean, thought it was because I was at the time I was selling puts. When I first started, I was trading the wheel strategy, the Warren
Mhm.
Buffett thing where you sell puts on a stock you want to own. And then if you get assigned the shares, then you own the shares and then you sell calls against it and they get called away. So, like, that seemed kind of easy because I had taken a class and I learned how to do that. And so I was doing that all the time. And once I kind of saw how that moved, like how the options would move along with the stock price and how the options premium would go down, down, down as it got closer to the expiration date. And I would see, I was like, oh, I'm going to collect all this money if this expires. I would get more excited about it and just kind of started to understand it more and more and more. So that part seemed pretty easy. And then I started learning how to trade spreads in 2022 after having traded options like really heavily selling. I was selling premium, selling options during all of 2021. And then learning how to trade spreads, which were totally different. And I had to see how spreads act with the underlying, so that was a different thing. But I kind of picked up that as well. And I also would sell premium for spreads,
Mhm.
right? To see how that was. So, I mean, I watched YouTube videos. I studied with a class. So I think that if you kind of have a general idea of options knowledge, there's a lot of options 101 videos on YouTube. You kind of get that down. You're like, okay, if I sell this put, if it expires at this point, I have to buy the shares. I
Mhm.
have this obligation versus this. I drew a little options matrix when I was studying, and so I would watch the video and be like, okay, this means I need to do this. So once I had that down, it was fine. And then learning spreads, that was like another process, but it wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult. I think the difficult part is when you're trading live money and you're trading something like SPX, which can suddenly go or
Right.
very, very fast. And it's the mindset piece where you have to be okay trading without panic. I think that's the main thing. Like anything, I think it's mindset, really.
Yeah, we always talk about it ad nauseum, about the psychological impact of what how you're thinking about things, and experience goes along with that. So it's like, you know, um, I can identify with what you're saying. You start off like in a small way, learning calls and puts, and then you're okay.
Mm,
What's a spread? And then you're like, okay, how does this work? And then how does this speed of the trade work? And then you have all these feelings and you work through them. But it's a complete process. I totally
yeah,
agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that how's well, you already told me. I mean, it's already been phenomenal. How's your performance? Has it improved since you started the program?
Uh, you know, um, I would say as I've been doing the program, I add little tweaks as I see things. I add little tweaks, so it's
Mhm.
just getting better and better. I'm getting more efficient and also um, better at discerning. Like, okay, do I really want to take this trade? Like we were talking about today.
Yeah.
It went way down and then came back up 30 points, and I just said, you know what? I'm not crazy about this. I'm not going to take it. Next bus. So I think over time, you know you you become better if you um, watch what you're doing and just see how it's going and how you can tweak it. So that's what I've done.
Well said. I love that. I
Yeah.
think it's true. A lot of people, we like to say, oh, this program is completely wonderful and it's everything, but it can always be better, right? And anything that you do can always be improved. And part of that is the process, watching the trade, learning how you react to certain things, learning the lessons, you
Hmm.
know, all along the way. So I agree with you. There's
Yeah,
things that we started out with this program that we learned and we start tweaking it. So yeah, I agree with you. Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so on to some of the support. Do you feel supported through OptionGenius and by your fellow traders? I mean, in this program.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. Like anytime I've had like a little bit of an issue or had a question, I'd send a message to support, and your support person, Harriet, she's on top of it.
She is
You know,
gold.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
she's fantastic. You need to like pay her in like extra money and free dinner or something.
she's she's
She's
very good at
she's
what she
great.
does.
She's great. She's great. And well, the thing is, I haven't had like a ton of questions, where I needed to seek out, let's say, like actual trading support versus, hey, I need a little help with the site, or I can't find XYZ, or I want to bring this person in, what do I need to do? But I have seen people ask questions, on the site about certain things, and you guys seem pretty responsive to it. So, I think that's good in terms of support. So yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. I always the on the line of thinking, if I don't have an answer to a question or Alan doesn't, we find out who does, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's hand in hand with customer service, right? So you may not know everything, but it's always good to find out the answer because the answer is out there. So
Yeah, for
agree.
sure.
Okay. Um, so let's get on to, has this participating in this program, has it changed your approach at all to how you trade? Is it just one strategy, or do you
This
think
is
it
just,
differently
yeah,
a
this
little?
is one. I have four strategies that I trade, and that I have over time. Strategies come, they work for certain markets, they don't work for others, right?
Correct.
So my thing is that I want to be nimble in the market. If the market is saying this is the strategy to do right now, do it. So I have four core strategies that I trade, and this now is one of them. So, and this is a great strategy.
I agree,
Yeah.
and yep.
Yeah.
We want
So it's
the
good.
we want the work as long as it possibly can work, right?
Exactly. Knock on wood. And I'm,
Absolutely.
fingers crossed that it keeps working for a really long time, because I love it. I think it's fantastic. So, and I mean, just the best part, of course, is that you don't have to do it every day.
Correct.
So
Right. I think the whole idea is not, being glued to your computer every minute of the day. I
yeah,
mean, I don't think internally anybody really wants to do that. There's a big,
no.
wonderful life outside of trading, to do whatever you want to do in life, and you don't want to be stuck to your computer at all times. So,
Well, exactly. And with my four core strategies, I'm not. They're all trades where um, I sell some premium, sometimes going out a few weeks or a few months, um, doing various things. And I just set the good till cancel order. And if they come off, then maybe I put another trade on, but I'm not sitting 8 hours in front of my computer. Ugh.
no, no,
I'm
it
not
doesn't
day
sound very good.
trading. I'm not day trading. That's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, bless the people who love to do that, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
definitely
not
not one of
me.
them. I agree with you. It's important that you flow with the market, right? And you use
Yeah.
whatever strategy is working with the market. And not everything works all the time. So it's good that you
Hmm.
have different strategies that you
Yeah.
can put in place. So I definitely agree with that. Um, what kind of advice would you give to someone that's on the fence about this program? I know that you brought a lot of people in and you believe in it, but what general advice would you give to someone who's kind of coming
Well,
in?
I'd say the general advice would be, come in with the idea that I'm learning something new,
Mhm.
and really be open to that, be open to learning something new, and what that means. Like, you don't expect to go into a calculus class and immediately be the person writing on the board all the functions and whatnot. No, you're going to sit down, you're actually going to study calculus for a while before you even take a test. And this is the same thing where you need to come in with the open mind. You got to spend the time learning it. But once you have it down, it's actually pretty easy. And it's actually pretty easy to be confident and comfortable about it. That's the thing. You don't want to take a trade where you're like biting your nails every time. This is not that kind of trade. For the most part, you take the trade and the next day, within the first hour, it closes and you're like, woohoo, day's done.
Day's done. I'm all set.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. But that takes, time and openness to learn it, to paper trade it. But then once you have it down, it's like, oh my God, I got this. No problem. Oh, great. We got a signal today. I'm making a little bit more money. So, I mean, it is a good program. And it's cool that on the site, everyone posts their trades, like, so you can kind of see, oh, maybe I was flying a little close to the sun on that one. Everybody else took a little bit more conservative, or, oh, everyone went a little closer to the money and I was more conservative. Oh, that's interesting. So you can kind of like see how other people are handling the trades as well. So it's not such an alone process, because yeah, I mean, trading, you're at home with your computer.
Right. And no outlet, really. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, unless you have a group of trader friends, it's not always easy to make those decisions. So that's one of the best things is, you have the site, people posting, these are the trades I'm taking today. So it kind of helps you gauge what your thought process is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The power of the group is so important, I think. Not only like just for instance, for today, we decided not to take the trade. And
Mhm.
then you have other people that every trader is different, right? In their mentality, and you have, which is fine, right? But you can kind of see in the group about, why someone took the trade this way, and you can learn from that, right? You can learn from everybody's experience. So the group setting is super powerful. So I'm glad that you see that here in this group, and we try to make that better and better as we go forward. So excellent. Um, so in your opinion, does this what sets this program apart from other ones that you may have gotten into?
Um, well, let me think about this. Well, first of all, customer service, that you guys knock it out of the park there. The algorithm is really good. And so then you're not trying to, you're not just taking somebody's random signal. Like, there's plenty of signal. Oh my God, there's so many signal services out there, right?
Such clutter.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's a lot of, and a lot of crap, just a lot of crap. This actually works. And I mean, and I've seen a lot of stuff, I've seen a lot of stuff. I've looked at a lot of stuff. When I was looking for core strategy, I was looking for, a lot of stuff. I've tried a lot of stuff, seen a lot of stuff. Um, this actually works. So, that, I mean, that's a major thing that says
It
this
is. It is.
apart.
It is, I think, one of the hardest things that we come across is parsing through all the programs out there and all the stuff going on. And it's hard to, um, you know, uh, be like, okay, is this possibly going to work, or is this going to work? And I think it's really important just having you on today to explain your experience and what you've been through and what you've seen. I mean, that helps people really understand what they're up against. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I appreciate that. So what's next for you in your trading journey? And I imagine, you know, well, I'll let you answer. What do you see in the future?
Well, I'm going to be trading forever. Okay. So I was a coach in a different program. I just retired from that like 2 weeks ago. I mentioned,
Congrats.
I brought in a bunch of my students into this because I was like, you guys are going to love this, and, maybe some more people will, come in. But not not having to trade and coach gives me, a little bit more free time, which is great. But as far as my trading journey goes, I mean, I'm going to be trading till I'm in the ground.
I
I
am right there
love
with you.
trading. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
I love to trade because in some ways it's sort of like solving a complicated math puzzle,
Mhm.
that you like kind of get the dopamine hit from getting the crossword or the Sudoku thing just right. And it's for me, it's the same with trading. Like if I kind of, look at the chart a little bit and I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to take this and then I get it and it's a winner. It's like, woohoo, I did it.
Yeah, and
So
you're in control of your decisions, right? I mean, you are in
yeah,
control of your. Um, I agree with you. I'm going to trade till I'm downright dead and not able to. Uh,
yeah,
it just gives you the ability to really, be in control, right? And
yeah,
there's so much in life that we're not in control of, and you're able to, make the decisions for yourself. So I agree with you completely.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, really at this point, so I've grown my account pretty big. I've grown my account fairly large. And I've done really, really well this year. And next year, as I get further along, once I get to a certain point, and I started a little bit this year, all of my profits are going to go in towards passive income investments.
Mhm.
Like some stocks that pay like 16%, things
Sure.
like that. So I'm going to be trading, but at the same time, if I want to go to Europe for 3 months and not worry about my trades, I have other stuff also doing. But even this year, I went to Europe for 3 months and I was still trading. So
Right. I think there's nothing better than being on vacation and being like, I made a little money. I mean, there
yeah,
is. I
yeah,
have to agree with you.
exactly. Well, if you trade, okay, so like the way I trade, if I'm trading kind of swing trading and I'm selling premium going out, a few weeks or a few months, you don't have to stare at it every day. And same with this, if you get a signal, you take the signal and you just be available to watch it the next day and just see if it closes at the open or if you need to watch it during the day. Otherwise, the rest of your time is yours, so we're living the dream basically,
We really
like the
are.
4-hour work week.
I know
I'm
sometimes I
not
want to
really
scream to other people out there that are working so hard, and I have such respect for all the time that you put into these jobs, and trading is a way to, shorten that, and you get all your time back. So it's really a
yeah.
special thing.
And I've been there. I mean, I've been that
Sure.
that overachieving entrepreneur. I mean, I had a business where I worked an 85-hour week for like 3.5 years, Whew. So to be able to do this and I probably spend maybe like an hour and a half a day between trading and logging my trades. And sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less, but the idea that I'm in control of my time, you
Yeah.
know,
Priceless.
yeah,
Priceless.
totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I I skipped over this program or question, but do you have any kind of specific metrics that you reached in this program, like a percentage or as far as
I don't
profits?
actually know because when I started, I was just trading like, I started with like one contract, five wide, then I two contracts, then three contracts, et cetera, et cetera, et
Right, so it's
cetera.
hard to tell you specifically.
It's hard to tell. Well, I mean, I think what's the gauge? Usually you make like 5% per trade or something like that.
About 5 to 8%,
Five
I'd
to
say,
8%. So I
but
would say
realistically 5.
yeah, I would say the majority of my trades are around that. Then I have a few outliers that are higher, maybe a few that are a little bit lower if I um, got in and out early, where I just was like, oh, I sold it for 50 cents and, an hour later it was at 25 cents and I just took the money and ran, so I don't have a number also because I tend to do, like I said, I do 10 contracts, 10 wide
Mhm.
with the option to sell four additional contracts if it goes against me a little bit to get a little extra money. So, it'd be different if I was always doing the same
Right,
thing.
which is not possible, for
Yeah,
sure.
but it's not possible. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can crunch the numbers or something. But if you figured um, $10,000 risk each time. Um, I don't know how to, I don't know how to calculate that.
Well,
So
I mean, I guess we could just think in a general dollar amount. I
general
think
dollar amount, I've made about $27,000 this year,
then fantastic.
and no losses on it. No losses. So fingers crossed and knock on wood that that stays the same. So it's pretty good.
Well, fantastic results, and just a pleasure to have you on here and talk it through. And thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
I
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. Okay.